Jnanakosha, Puranas.
सर्गच्च प्रतिसर्गच्च वंशो मन्वन्तराणि च वंशानुचरितं चैव पुराणं पञ्चलक्षणम्.
Agni Purana. Rama. Brahma came out of Vishnu's navel. Brahma's son was Mariti's son, Kashyapa. Kashyapa's son, Surya. Surya's son, Vaivaswata, Manu. Manu's son, Ikshvaku. Ikshvaku's son, Kakustha. Kakustha's son, Raghu. Raghu's son, Aja. Aja's son, Dasharatha. Dasharatha's son were Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana and Satrughna. Since Rama was descended from Kaustha and Raghu, he was also called Kaustha and Raghava. Since his father's name was Dasharatha, he was also called Dasharathi. Rama's story belongs to the solar line Surya Vamsha, since one of his ancestors was Surya. Vishnu himself wished to destroy Ravana and the other Rakshasas. He therefore divided himself into 4 parts and was born as Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana and Satrughna. Rama was Kaushalya's son, Bharata Kaikeyi's, Lakshmana and Satrughna were the sons of Sumitra. The sage Vishwamitra came to Dasharatha and pleaded for Rama's help in defeating the Rakshasas who were disturbing his yajnas. Rama killed these demons and Vishwamitra was so pleased that he taught Rama the use of all divine weapons. Rama broke a bow of Shiva's that had been in the possession of the king of Mithila, Janaka. This was the task that had been appointed for marrying Sita. Janaka's daughter Rama married Sita. Lakshmana married Urmila. Bharata married Mandavi and Satrughna married Shrutakirti. On the way back to Ayodhya, Rama also beat Parashurama in a duel. Dasharatha resolved that Rama should be made Yuvaraja, that is the heir apparent to the kingdom. But Kaikeyi had a servant named Manthara who plotted otherwise. When he was young, Rama had pulled at Manthara's feet, and ever since that day Manthara had not been kindly towards Rama. She reminded Kaikeyi of the 2 boons that had been promised to her by King Dasharatha. Years ago, the gods had been fighting with the demon Sambara and had asked Dasharatha for his help. In fighting with Sambara, Dasharatha had been injured. He had been nursed back to health by Kaikeyi. Dasharatha had promised 2 boons to Kaikeyi as a reward, and Manthara's suggestion was that Kaikeyi should now ask for these 2 boons. By the first boon, Rama would be banished to the forest for 14 years, and by the second boon, Bharata would become Yuvaraja. Kaikeyi listened to Manthara. At Manthara's instance, she asked for these 2 boons. Dasharatha was very angry, but Rama insisted that he would indeed go to the forest for 14 years. Rama, Lakshmana and Sita first went to the banks of the river Tamasa. From there they went to the kingdom of Guha, the king of the hunters. They crossed the river Jannavi and arrived in Prayaga, where the sage Bharadwaja had his hermitage. Their final destination was the mount range of Chitrakuta on the banks of the river Mandakini. Meanwhile, back home in Ayodhya, King Dasharatha, who could not bear to be parted from Rama, died. Bharata and Satrughna had gone on a visit to their uncle's house and were recalled. But Bharata refused to be king. He went to the forest to try and persuade Rama to return. But Rama insisted that he would not return before the 14 years were over. So Bharata brought back Rama's sandals. He placed these sandals on the throne as a token of Rama's kingship, and he began to rule the kingdom in Rama's name from Nandigram rather than from Ayodhya. Rama, Lakshmana and Sita then went to the forest that is known as the Dandaka forest, Dandakaranya. This forest was on the banks of the river Godavari, and there was a beautiful grove inside the forest known as Panchvati. They built a hut there and resolved to live there. There was a Rakshasa woman named Shurpanaka. She happened to come to the place where Rama, Lakshmana and Sita had built their hut. Shurpanaka liked Rama so much that she wanted to marry Rama and eat up Lakshmana and Sita. But Lakshmana cut off Shurpanaka's nose and ears with his sword. Shurpanaka fled to brother Khara and demanded revenge. Khara and 14,000 other demons, Rakshasas, attacked Rama, but they were all killed by Rama. Shurpanaka then went to her other brother Ravana, the king of Lanka. Ravana asked the Rakshasa Maricha to adopt the form of a golden deer and roam around in front of Rama's hut. Sita was so charmed by the deer that she asked Rama to capture it for her. Rama was long in returning, and Lakshmana went to look for him. Taking advantage of Rama and Lakshmana's absence, Ravana kidnapped Sita. Jatayu, the king of the birds, did try to stop Ravana, but he met his death at Ravana's hand. Rama and Lakshmana were greatly distressed to find Sita missing, and they looked for her everywhere. Rama made friends with the monkey Sugriva. He killed Sugriva's brother Bali and made Sugriva the king of monkeys. The monkeys were sent off in all the 4 directions for Sita. The monkeys who had gone towards the south learnt that Sita was in Lanka across the ocean. One of these monkeys was Hanuman. Hanuman leapt over the ocean and arrived in Lanka. He discovered the lonesome Sita in a grove of Ashoka trees, the Ashokvanam. Hanuman introduced himself and assured Sita that he would soon be back with Rama. Hanuman caused some general havoc in Lanka and was captured by Meghanada or Indrajit. Ravana's son Ravana ordered that Hanuman's tail should be set on fire, but Hanuman used his burning tail to set fire to all the houses of Lanka. He then returned to Rama with the news that Sita had been found. Rama, Lakshmana and the army of monkeys arrived at the shore of the ocean. There they built a bridge over the ocean so that they could cross over into Lanka. There was a terrible war in which Rama killed the giant Kumbhakarna, Ravana's brother. Lakshmana killed Indrajit. Rama killed Ravana with a powerful divine weapon, the Brahmastra. The 14 years were by now over, and Rama, Lakshmana and Sita returned to Ayodhya. There Rama was crowned king, and he treated his subjects as his own son. He punished the wicked and followed the path of dharma. During Rama's rule, there was no shortage of food grains anywhere, and the people were no one died an untimely death. On Rama's instruction, Satrughna killed the Asura Lavana and built the city of Mathura in the place where Lavana's kingdom had been. Bharata was sent by Rama to kill a wicked Gandharva, a singer of heaven named Shailusha, who lived on the banks of the river Indus with his sons. Bharata killed them and built 2 cities there, Takshashila and Pushkaravati. In Takshashila, Bharata established his son Atakasha as king, and in Pushkaravati he made his son Pushkara the king. Rama and Sita had 2 sons named Kusha and Lava. Rama ruled for 11,000 years before he died. This is the story of Ramayana as recounted in the Agni Purana. It was written by the sage Valmiki after he had heard the story from the sage Narayana. Rama was the seventh avatar of Vishnu. Krishna was the eighth. The Harivamsha. As you have already been told, Brahma emerged from Vishnu's navel. Brahma's son was Atri. Atri's son Soma. Soma's son Pururva. Pururva's son Ayu. Ayu's son Nahusha. And Nahusha's son Yayati. Yayati had two wives, Devyani and Sharmista. Devyani had two sons, Yadu and Turvasu. And Sarmista had three sons, Dhruvya, Anu and Puru. The descendants of Yadu were known as the Yadavas. Vasudeva was a Yadava. His wife was Devaki. Vishnu was born as a son of Vasudeva and Devaki in order to remove the wicked from the world. The seventh son of Vasudeva and Devaki was Baladeva, and the eighth son was Krishna himself. Krishna was born in the month of Bhadra in the thick of the night, scared that the wicked Kamsa might kill the newly born child. Vasudeva left him with Yashoda, the wife of Nanda. Nanda was the king of the cowherds, and he brought up Baladeva and Krishna. Kamsa sent a Rakshasa woman named Putana to kill Krishna, but Krishna killed her instead. In Vrindavana, Krishna subdued the terrible snake known as Kaliya. He killed several other Rakshasas named Arishta, Vrishabha, Keshi, Dhenu, and Gardhabha, and made the country safe from the attacks of these demons. He also stopped the worship of Indra. This led to a fight between Indra and Krishna. Indra tried to destroy the inhabitants of Gokula by sending down torrents of rain, but Krishna held aloft the mountain Govardhana and saved the inhabitants of Gokula. Kamsa's capital was in Mathura. Baldeva and Krishna went there. Kamsa let loose a mad elephant named Kuvalayapida on Krishna, but Krishna killed Kuvalayapida. Baldeva and Krishna also killed two strong wrestlers, Chanura and Mushtika, whom Kamsa had instructed to kill Baldeva and Krishna. Finally, Krishna killed Kamsa and made Ugrasena the king. Kamsa was Jarasandha's son, and Nila and Jarasandha became furious when he learnt of Kamsa's death. He attacked the Yadavas and laid siege to the city of Mathura. After a prolonged war, Krishna managed to defeat Jarasandha. Krishna also defeated another evil king named Paundaraka. On Krishna's instructions, the Yadavas built the beautiful city of Dwaraka or Dwaravati. The Yadavas began to live in Dwaraka. There was an Asura named Naraka who was killed by Krishna. Naraka had imprisoned 16,000 daughters of Devas, Gandharvas and Yakshas, gods of heaven's treasury. These women were freed by Krishna, and Krishna married all of them. Amongst Krishna's other exploits were defeating the Daitya, Panchajanya, killing Kalayavana, seizing the Parijata tree from Indra, and bringing back to life the sage Sandipani's dead son. Krishna had several sons. Shamba was born of Krishna's wife Jambavati, and Pradyumna was born of Krishna's wife Rukmani. As soon as Pradyumna was born, he was abducted by the Asura Shambhara. Shambhara threw the baby into the sea, but a fish swallowed the baby. A fisherman caught the fish and brought it to Shambhara's house. When the fish's stomach was cut open, the baby came out. There was a woman named Mayavati who lived in Shambhara's house, and Shambhara handed over baby Pradyumna to Mayavati so that he might be brought up well. When he grew up, Pradyumna killed Shambhara and married Mayavati. They returned to Dwaraka, and Krishna was very happy to see his lost son. Pradyumna and Mayavati had a son named Aniruddha. Aniruddha secretly married Usha. the daughter of King Vana. Vana himself being the son of Bali. Vana's capital was in a city named Shonitpura. Vana had pleased Shiva through hard and difficult tapasya, so that sometimes he was called the son of Shiva. Vana loved to fight, and he had wanted a boon from Shiva that he might get the chance to fight with someone who was his equal in battle. A flag with a peacock on it used to fly from the ramparts of Vana's palace. Shiva told him the day this flag fell down, Vana's desire with an equal would be satisfied. With the help of a friend of Usha's, Anuruddha and Usha used to meet secretly in Vana's palace. Vana's guards informed him about this, and there was a fierce battle between Vana and Aniruddha at the same time. The flag with the peacock on it fell down. Krishna got to know from Narada about the fight between Vana and Aniruddha, and Baladeva and Pradyumna arrived in Vana's capital. Shiva came to fight on Vana's side, accompanied by Nandi and Skanda or Kartikeya. But after a duel that lasted for a long time, Krishna triumphed over these enemies. Krishna's arrows also cut off the 1,000 arms that Vana had. But at Shiva's request, Krishna spared Vana's life and gave 2 arms with which to make 2. All of these stories about Krishna are related in detail in the Harivamsha. The Agni Purana merely gives a brief summary of the Harivamsha, but stories about Krishna, the 8 avatars of Vishnu, also crop up in the Mahabharata. The Agni Purana therefore next summarizes the Mahabharata. The Mahabharata. The Pandavas were merely pretest. Krishna used the Pandavas to rid the world of evil men. You have already learnt that one of Yayati's sons was Puru. In Puru's line were born Bharata and Kuru. One of the Kuru's descendants was the king Shantanu. Shantanu married Ganga, and Bhishma was born from this marriage. But Shantanu also married Satyavati and had 2 more sons, Chitrangada, Vichitravirya. Bhishma never married. Chitrangada died young. When Vichitravirya grew up, Bhishma defeated the king of Kashi and brought 2 of king's daughters, Ambika and Ambalika, as brides for Vichitravirya. Vichitravirya was also quite young when he died of tuberculosis. Since Vichitravirya had left no children, Vyasadeva was brought to Hastinapur. Vyasadeva and Ambalika had a son named Dhritarashtra, and Vyasadeva and Ambalika had a son named Pandu. Dhritarashtra married Gandhari, and they had 100 sons, of whom the most important was Duryodhana. Pandu had 2 wives, Kunti and Madri. Kunti's sons were Yudhishthira, Bhima and Arjuna, and Madri's sons were Nakula and Sahadeva. But Yudhishthira was really the son of god Dharma and not Pandu's son. Similarly, Bhima was the son of the god Pavana, Arjuna the son of Indra, and Nakula and Sahadeva the sons of 2 Ashwins. Earlier, Kunti had a son named Karna from the sun god. This was before she had got married to Pandu. Karna became a friend of Duryodhana's. Because of a curse imposed on him by a sage, Pandu died in the forest. Duryodhana tried his best to kill the Pandavas. He set fire to a house of lac, Jatagriha, in which Kunti and the 5 Pandavas were staying. But the Pandavas were saved and fled to a city named Ekachakra. There they lived disguised as Brahmanas. In Ekachakra they destroyed a Rakshasa named Vaka. They then won the hand of the daughter of the king of Panchala. Her name was Draupadi, and all 5 Pandava brothers married her. When Duryodhana learnt that the Pandavas were alive, he handed over half the kingdom to them. Meanwhile, the forest Khandava had to be burned, and Krishna and Arjuna did this together. Krishna had befriended Arjuna. When Arjuna successfully defeated the god Agni at the burning of the Khandava forest, Agni gave him several divine weapons. Arjuna had also obtained divine weapons from his guru Dronacharya. On the Pandava side, Yudhishthira had become king. The Pandavas organized a Rajasuya Yajna in which they conquered several kingdoms and accumulated lot of wealth. This made Duryodhana envious. He arranged a game of dice between Yudhishthira and Duryodhana's uncle Shakuni. Shakuni did not play fairly and Yudhishthira lost the game. As penalty for the loss, the Pandavas were to spend 12 years in the forest and one additional year without being detected. Draupadi went with them to the forest, as did the Pandavas' priest Dhaumya. After the 12 years were over, the Pandavas came to the kingdom of King Virata, where they proposed to spend the additional year that had to be spent in disguises. Yudhishthira pretended to be a Brahmana, Bhima a cook, Arjuna a dancer, Nakula and Sahadeva a stable hand. Draupadi became the queen's maid. The queen's brother Kichaka tried to molest Draupadi but was killed by Bhima. When the year was over, the Kauravas attacked King Virata to rob him of his cattle. But Arjuna defeated all the Kauravas and saved Virata's cattle. After this success, the identity of the Pandavas could no longer be kept a secret. But thankfully, the 1 year during which identities had to be kept a secret was over. King Virata's daughter Uttara was married to Abhimanyu. Arjuna's son Abhimanyu's mother was Subhadra, whom Arjuna had married. Subhadra also happened to be Krishna's sister. The Pandavas now demanded their rightful share of the kingdom, but Duryodhana refused. A war was imminent. A huge battalion of soldiers was known as an Akshoni. Duryodhana collected 11 Akshonis for the war and Yudhishthira collected 7. Krishna was sent as a messenger to Duryodhana to try and preserve the peace. Krishna told Duryodhana that the Pandavas would be satisfied with a mere 5 villages. Duryodhana refused to give them even this without a fight. So the armies gathered for a war on the plains of Kurukshetra. Noticing that elders and relatives like Bhishma and Dronacharya were fighting on the side of the Kauravas, Arjuna was reluctant to fight. But Krishna gave Arjuna lessons which have come down to us as the Gita. He taught there was no reason for sorrow if Bhishma or Dronacharya died. That was only a death of their physical bodies. The true identity of a person was his Atman, which never died but passed from one body to another. True bliss was obtained when the Atman united with the Brahman, a divine essence, or Paramatman, supreme soul. This was always the goal of a yogi, that is, a person who sought union with God. Thus instructed by Krishna, Arjuna started to fight. With the help of Shikhandi, he defeated Bhishma. This happened on the 10th day of the fighting. Bhishma did not, however, die. He had earlier received the boon that he would only die when he actually wished to do so. For many days he lay there in the battlefield on a bed of arrows. After Bhishma's defeat, Dronacharya became the general on the Pandava side. Dronacharya killed Virata, Drupada and several other kings and soldiers on the Pandava side. Drishtadyumna also killed many Kaurava soldiers. On the 15th day of the fighting, a rumor gained currency that Ashwathama, Dronacharya's son, had been killed. Dronacharya abandoned his weapons on hearing this bad news, and Drishtadyumna faced no problems in killing him. Karna now became the Kaurava general and lasted for 2.5 days. before he was killed by Arjuna. Shalya was the last Kaurava general. He fought for only half a day and was killed by Yudhishthira. Bhima and Duryodhana fought the last duel of the war with maces. Bhima broke Duryodhana's thighs and killed him. Ashwatthama had been fuming ever since his father Dronacharya had been killed by unfair means. In the dead of the night, he entered the Pandava camp where he killed Dhritarashtra and the 5 sons of Draupadi. Draupadi was disconsolate and demanded revenge. Arjuna and Ashwatthama let loose divine weapons at each other. Since this might destroy the world, they were asked to withdraw these weapons. Arjuna could withdraw his weapon, but Ashwatthama could not. Ashwatthama's weapons killed the baby that was in Uttara's womb, but when the dead baby was born, Krishna brought it back to life. This baby was Parikshit. Many kings and soldiers died in the course of the Kurukshetra war. The only ones left alive were Kritavarma, Kripacharya and Ashwatthama on the Kaurava side and Pandava side. After the war was over, Bhishma taught Yudhishthira the duties of king. It was only after this that he died. As a king, Yudhishthira performed many yajnas and gave a lot to Brahmanas. When Yudhishthira learned that the Yadavas had been destroyed, he no longer wished to rule. He handed over the kingdom to Parikshit, and Pandavas left on a pilgrimage in the course of which they died. It was Krishna who had used the Pandavas as a tool to rid the world of evil kings and establish the good ones. Realizing that the Yadavas were also evil, Krishna also ensured that Yadavas would be destroyed. He then gave up his life at the place of pilgrimage that is known as Prabhasa. After Krishna died, the city of Dwaraka was swallowed up by the sea. This was the story of the 8th avatara of Vishnu, Buddha. The 9th avatara of Vishnu was Buddha. Many years ago, there was a war between the Devas and the Asuras in which the demons managed to defeat the gods. The gods went running to Vishnu for protection, and Vishnu told them that Maya Moha would be born as Buddha, the son of Suddhodana. Such were the illusions that Buddha created that the Asuras left the path indicated by the Vedas and became Buddhists. These dastardly creatures performed ceremonies that were a sure ticket to Naraka. Kalki. Kalki, the 10th avatara of Vishnu, will be Kalki. Towards the end of the Kali era, all people will be dastardly. They will oppose the Vedas, become robbers, and will be concerned only with wealth. The disbelievers will then become kings, and these kings will also be cannibals. Much later, Kalki will be born on earth as the son of Vishnu Yasha. He will take up arms to destroy these disbelievers. Kalki's priest will be the sage Yajnavalkya. The names of the 4 are classes, Varna, and the 4 stages of life, ashrama, will be established yet again. People will honor the sacred texts and become virtuous. It will then be time for the dawn of a new Satya Yuga, a fresh period of righteousness. In every cycle, Kalpa, and in every era, Manvantara, Vishnu is thus born in various forms. It is a sacred duty to listen to the stories of 10 avatars. The listener attains his desires and goes to heaven.